Welcome to Gold Derby's hair and makeup design panel. I'm David Buchanan, joined today by Sean Flanigan from the Gilded Age. He's the hairstyling department head. Sean, first and foremost, I feel like the Gilded Age season 2 is so much bigger than season 1, even though season 1 itself was quite grand in its scale. What were you most excited to tap into and explore when you heard about the arc of the season and started seeing those scripts?
Well, season 1, we were dealing with COVID, so everything was much smaller and tighter. Um, when we got the scripts for season 2, it was a little shocking because everything had multiplied immensely. So the first episode, which the nomination is for, is the Easter bonnet, and that was quite overwhelming because it wasn't just one church; it was 3 different churches, and all on the same Sunday. So obviously we had numerous wigs, and when you're having different class levels that you have to design for, that was quite a challenging journey to undertake, and it was quite exciting. So that was really fun to have to come up with all those different levels of styles for those looks. So
Yeah, let's dive into the episode. It's called You Don't Even Like Opera. It's the season premiere. And as you said, it opens with this lavish Easter Sunday procession, all these different families, 3 different congregations. I wanted to start by asking you, there are not just so many principal performers in that sequence, but so many background actors. How much time did you have to prep? And then how did you bring all of that to life? Because you do see so many folks in those churches and on the street. It's a joyous segment, but how long did you have to get that right?
we have about, for the beginning, for the first episode, we usually have about a 6-week lead time into prep for our season. So that gave us a good head start on getting our heads wrapped around what we were going to have to produce. It really was not as challenging for us with our principal characters because we've already established them in season 1. So we kind of knew those people already. So any of the new characters that were coming in, we had to really dive into and develop. As far as the background, we have an amazing team that we bring with us, and they've been with us in season 1, so they know the look. And as far as a designer, one thing I can do, and I work really hand in hand with my makeup partner, Nikki Liederman, we actually work so tight together in developing the looks and the characters. And then we also fall into a process with our costume designer, Kasha, because both of the hat, I mean, in our period, hats are so integral in our look. Any of the women, if they go, just because of what they do in the period, women would not go outside without a hat on. It's just part of the culture and the classes, what they have to deal with. So we really have to design around that process. It really was fun to come up with all of those looks, but again, it takes a complete village, and I've said this over and over again. As a designer, I really try to come up with a concept and give my team guardrails. So we each have specific characters that we are responsible for that I kind of allot out, and I let my team go for it. And I, obviously I keep an eye on everything and keep everything within those guardrails, but that way, because of the scope and the size of our cast, there's not a cookie cutter style that fits, like one hand does not touch everybody. It's a team. And that's what I think is the magic of our show, because it does take a village to get this project together. So, I mean, costumes, wardrobe, our whole production team, and we're in the middle of season 3 right now. And so everyone came back. Grip, electric, our whole entire production team is back. And we've become so tight as a family. And I think it really reflects in the work.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about working with the costumes on that sequence, because as you said, so many hats. And when I talked to Kasha Valiska-Momon, your costume designer, she had said she wanted to just keep making the hats bigger and bigger and grander. How much does that change what you do with the hairstyling? I mean, I have to imagine until she's got the final look, you're not quite sure what you're going to do with the hairstyles.
Well, the one thing that we learned with Kasha is that she's really collaborative. It's really fun because what we'll do is we get our costume boards a couple days in advance, so we know what the hats are looking like. So when we start designing, and the hair for this period is designed around the hat. So sometimes if you look at some of our women without the hats on, the hair is going to be set off to the side because the way the hats have to sit on and balance. So it's really kind of crazy to see them without the hat on sometimes. But yeah, you really have to take a look at the hat and see, okay, where is this going to sit? How is this going to sit? Where do I have to add hair? Because these women every woman is in a wig. There's hundreds of hair pieces going around. And we constantly saying, okay, we need to add another piece here just to support the hat. Especially the Easter parade stuff. That was crazy. It was really fun. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, but amazing.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine, and watching it unfold on screen is so exciting. It's a great way to kick off the second season. I believe this is your fourth Emmy nomination. You have two this year, one for Gilded Age and one for Feud, Capote versus the Swans. And earlier in your career, you've also done a lot of other period TV work and whatnot. What about working in different periods and in eras really excites you as a hairstylist?
I don't know how I ended up in period. I mean, I'm a musical theater kid, so I just grew up watching old movies, and I just love the style and the shape. And as I tell, Nikki, my makeup artist that I work with, she's the department head makeup. She's more of a painter. She's great with color and texture, and I'm much more shape and dimension. So it's a really nice balance working with someone that has that eye that can complement you. It's fun. I mean, 50s and 60s, because of Mad Men and a few other things I've done, it's kind of fun to play with. So I just you kind of get a sense and a feel of the period and the costumes and the style. I generally, if I've done contemporary shows, I kind of get lost. I always feel like, am I doing enough? I mean, okay, I'm putting someone in a ponytail. Is that am I not supposed to set it or curl it or do something? So as a hairstylist, I kind of love and have a passion for the period things, just because I feel there's more work that has to go into it. Just in my own experience, everyone has their own experiences. Some people love contemporary, and it's beautiful. I just get lost sometimes, I think, but I've done it and it's really fun. But I generally always fall back into a period somehow.
When you started on season 1 of the Gilded Age, what kind of research did you do to understand exactly what these characters, what the hairstyles would look like at the time? And then you're also dealing with, just as I said earlier, so many different characters of different social stations and classes. So what was your research process like in terms of, delving into all the rich material that's out there?
Season 1 was a little crazy because I came into the show with, I think, like 4 days before we started shooting. It was a quick change in the department, and I literally was a deer in a headlight. I was literally depending on everyone around me to say, where's your research? What am I looking at? Again, because I'm so visual, I really will look at images and pictures and paintings, and I pull and I'll sculpt and I'll change dimensions and pieces to create the look. What I found interesting with the research, I did do a lot of Vanity Fair magazines, period things. There are tons of pencil sketches of costumes and women in hats, and there are references of hair pieces and switches and all these clusters that were styled for the period. And so there's reference photos in research books all over the place that you can find. And so I really went that direction. So I took images and started playing with shape and balance on the wigs. And then as far as designing, we have the new money and the old money, and then we also have the working class, and then we had the black cast. So we have all these different levels. And so the old money, I kept them I set them back, 10 years. So instead of 1882 or 1884, we went back to, 1870. So I kept them a little old, a little staunchier feeling. The new money we played around with. We took, the best example is Carrie Coon. We glamorized the period a little bit, I think. I mean, it's a TV show. We wanted to romanticize it and make it, palatable, because this period was very frizzy and rough texture. And the women were like, in my cast, were like, please don't make us wear that. So we played around with Carrie's hair. She has a kind of a 40s feel, but then it's period shape. So it's the aesthetic is there, but it's got a little fun play with it. And then the kitchen staff, we basically kept them a little fuzzier and rougher and not so polished and clean. So we created the different levels in each world of our design.
Sean, congratulations on the Gilded Age season 2, and congratulations on the Emmy nomination.
Thank you very much.